Will Wonder Woman be able to make the ultimate sacrifice if it means saving her friends and rebuilding the multiverse? Well, let's hop into the pages of Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 7, the grand finale of this event, and find out. So then, picking up from where the last issue left off, big gold superpowered Wonder Woman is still locked in a battle to the death with the Darkest Knight. This giant superhero kaiju battle gets so heated that the Darkest Knight actually ends up hitting Wonder Woman so hard she falls backwards not only through space but through time itself. And we know this too because we can see some wonderful snapshots of DC history, Vandal Savage finding the meteor in the snow, and even Etrigan the Demon from the ye olde days of Camelot gets a chance to rhyme. Isn't that fun? As the Batman Who Laughs puts it while haranguing Wonder Woman, this battle is so much bigger than the two of them. This is about the fate of all worlds as they know it, as the Darkest Knights monkeying around with time and space has invited the wrath of the Hands, the race that Perpetua, the mother of creation, was from. You remember that big blue hand right at the beginning of all the creation myths in DC Comics? Well, apparently they belong to a whole race of people. The Darkest Knight had planned to kill the Hands when they came to reset the universe, as they have in every crisis, but he can't do that if he's fighting Wonder Woman. This is probably the most desperate we've seen the Darkest Knight ever, as he actually tries and strikes a deal with Wonder Woman. Join him, help him kill the Hands, and in return, he'll let Wonder Woman create brand new universes where her and her friends can be happy and victorious. Of course, Diana is far past these petty games now. She's discovered the truth at the center of all creation in the DC universe, the true meanings behind crisis and anti-crisis energy. In fact, she gives an impassioned speech about how crisis energy is evil and lazy, and how it's all about sacrificing the future and the past and history and legacy just for one moment in time. And that while even though her and her friends may be losing really bad against the Darkest Knight and his forces, there's still a true honesty to it that wouldn't be there if they just gave it up and hit the cosmic reset button. And yes, all the different DC heroes get their big final stand moment. The Amazons come to rescue Aquaman from an evil version of his mother. Barry Allen the Flash defeats an evil version of Wally West who never gave up the power of the Mobius chair. Yeah, remember the Mobius chair and how important that was for a minute? Batman, of course, needs to try and outshine everyone, and even though the Robin King killed all of his friends and cut his arms off, it doesn't matter because he put the power of the Black Lantern ring in a batarang, meaning that he can quite literally raise his family from the dead, including Alfred, who actually gets a last-minute cameo in here, the first time we've actually seen him quote-unquote in the flesh since his death. Not to be outdone, Lex Luthor also tries to do the whole heroic sacrifice thing, coming in at the last minute to rescue Superman from an evil version of himself that was about to go supernova. Because wouldn't you know it, even at the end of all things, Lex Luthor reserves the opportunity to be the one to end the life of Superman once and for all. Wonder Woman sees all these events, the great and the horrible, as she continues to lay an unholy smackdown on the Darkest Knight. With every punch, she actually ends up seeing ripples throughout the universe. She sees the Legion of Superheroes being formed, the JSA, Superman's rocket coming to Earth. Hey, it's all the stuff that was important in Doomsday Clock. Remember Doomsday Clock, when it was supposed to be the thing that was going to reorganize the DC universe? Yeah, me neither. The clock is ticking, though, as the hands of creation are upon these two. Wonder Woman, with all of her strength, ends up actually pushing the Darkest Knight into, well, I think it's supposed to be the Big Bang itself. In doing so, actually finally being able to end the reign of this horrible monster. And with that, though, everything goes dark. But not for long, though, as because of her heroism and courage, Diana of the Amazons has actually earned an opportunity that few actually get, an audience with the hands of creation, aka DC editorial. In fact, they do that thing that certain science fiction movies do, wherein the true forms of the hands are too much for any one human mind to comprehend, and as such they decide to take a form more familiar to Wonder Woman, in this case, her Golden Age form. The hands say that they too have seen all that has transpired and that it has given them pause, and that when they do reorganize the universe, they are going to do it differently this time. For starters, they will not take away all the memories that Wonder Woman worked so hard to untangle. And that the walls that once divided heroes will be torn down. What does that actually mean? Well, stick around and we'll talk about that more in fuller detail. All of this comes with a price, though, for Wonder Woman. At first, Diana assumes it's her life, but it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. You see, the hands want Wonder Woman to ascend to a higher plane of existence and help guide them. So basically Wonder Woman gets to be God, or Gaia I suppose as the case may be, and with that the day is saved, the dead yet live, and instead of Superman giving his normal upbeat speech that he does at the end of these stories, we get a funny bit wherein Sergeant Rock actually approximates the speech that Superman probably gave anyway, and you know what, the self-referential comedy bits don't end there, as for one day hero and villain actually get to party alongside each other at the Hall of Justice, much like they did at the end of the original Dark Knight's Metal. But alas, all celebrations are short-lived as a hero's work is never done, and Wally West ends up getting spirited away by Barry to talk about what they're going to do next at their brand new base of operations. Yeah, that's right, the Watchtower and Legion of Doom headquarters have been united to form a new base called the Totality. This place will serve as a kind of multiversal shield and command center for a lot of characters that got elevated during Scott Snyder's Justice League run, including a bunch of villains like Vandal Savage. As we hear from this new task force, the universe as they know it has changed a lot. Not only are a lot of dead people back to life now, but major cosmic players like Darkseid have disappeared off the map completely. Hypertime is also shifting and changing too, meaning that not only are a bunch of new futures opening up right now, go read Future State that also dropped this week, but a series of past events are also being peppered throughout our heroes' brains. That was probably what Generations was supposed to be in 5G, but it's not connected anymore, so don't feel like you have to read it. But by far the biggest change of all, though, is that Earth Prime is now no longer the center of the DC multiverse. In fact, it has been supplanted by two brand new Earths. These Earths are part of the brand new Infinite Frontier that are ushering in the brand new era of the Omniverse. They are called the Alpha Earth and its twin, and you're positively gonna love this, the Elseworld. What will new adventures in these worlds look like? Well, for that, we once again check back on in with Sergeant Rock, who we discover has actually been writing his entire internal monologue inside the journal of Carter Hall the Hawkman. It seems on this Earth, World War II never ended, and Sergeant Rock is joined by the JSA to continue fighting the good fight, because the real battles aren't between dark and light, good and evil. The truest battles, Rock says, takes place inside ourselves, and all those battles matter, and all those stories matter too. And so there you have it, everyone, Dark Knight's Death Metal issue number 7, and overall I thought it was a fine finale. There was a lot of feel-good moments. It was certainly nice to see Wonder Woman get a little elevation in a big DC crossover story, considering that she doesn't get it all that often, and the promises of the Infinite Frontier do have me excited. The big problem, though, is despite all of Death Metal's talk about this being new and daring and exciting and never been done before in a crisis, the fact of the matter is, yes, it has. It's all been done very much before, and will be done again probably in the next 5 to 8 years. You can tell me all you want through the pages of a story about how DC has finally given up its destructive habit to crises and retconnings and starting over, but truth be told, I don't believe you. I will say, though, I think that Death Metal was at its best when it was being a big schlocky B-movie, an over-the-top comedy, a cheeky little wink and nod to how much Snyder knows what fans are talking about when they say they have problems with DC's creative direction. Unfortunately, that couldn't just be contained to 7 issues. We had to have a million tie-ins that felt like they weren't in on that joke. Ultimately, though, I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7 out of 10. It was perfectly alright, I didn't hate it, I was tired by it in spots, but hey, let's give Future State a look, shall we? Because you know what? Yeah, you're right, the story never ends and the battle never ends when it comes to comic books, because there is always something new right around the corner, isn't there?
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cave Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time, everyone, I've been Cave Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.